to kick things off. Team Gigantti versus Winstrike. Coming right to you right now.
Winstrike on a bit of karaoke before they get things underway.
No, right.
No.
Well, the Reinhardt's not on the podium. Oh, no, he is on the podium. But we can't hear the sound. There's always one, isn't there? Main trying to steal the spotlight.
Okay, he's having a bit of fun there now. There you go. Kenzie is going to be on that Mei. This has become the Winstrike special. You don't really see it too many other teams running this, but it started from playing Mei on very selective points like the guys are speaking about on Mecha Base to actually playing it on every single point in the game. Every map, they do not care. It's almost as flexible as Goats to these guys, which is a nice thing. And exactly as Chow said last week, Goats wasn't really working for them, so they had to put their own flavour on it, and Kenzie on the Mei was the answer to that.
Captain Kenzie and his Frosty boys rolling out, Shaq taking hold of the corner, and already Vigility's been caught out. This fight should be just done and dusted for Winstrike, and when Eng follows up the kills like that, Milky Man's going to try and return it, but I think this one's going over to Winstrike. They're probably going to get the first cap from this as well, as they're cleaning up kills on the retreat.
I had a real big criticism levied against Gigantti last week when they won 2-0, that they were a bit too slow, they were playing very reactive, and yes, when they do play reactive, they do play well. But the problem is if when a team aggresses onto you and picks off a key member for free, then you are still at a huge disadvantage. That's exactly what Winstrike did just then and what Young and Beautiful did last week. They charged in, they hard-focused Vigility, and he had nowhere to go. He was like, well, where do I go? And I think even Davin was unsure. Do I barrier Vigility? Do I save it? They weren't really sure.
Well, they're trying to save Sharek at the moment. Low HP bars for him, and they're going to flip it back around as Unfix finds Milky Man, and then taking out Davin. Vigility's going to follow shortly afterwards, and oh no, that's unfortunate for you, Zappis. Trapped in the corner, going to be burned down, but after a brief delay, we want to try and savor this one.
Just going to stall him out a little bit there as well. It's always nice to stall the Ibra. Gives you more time, of course, on the spawn. Every second she's alive here is another second that the team has to wait for her to respawn before you can push back out once again as a collective unit. That's a huge advantage we didn't think about with Mei Goats. There's no D.Va to stall out.
No D.Va to stall out, and also you've now got an added form of CC in the form of the freeze to lengthen out another D.Va stall.
Yeah, we saw some interesting clips from Australian Contenders where it was a sleep, then a freeze, then a sleep, and then a very unfortunate timely disconnect.
Less about that, the better. Let's move on to Sharek with the Shatter. Double Strike's going over the top. It won't be able to block through that Transcendence, but it doesn't matter. No one's at danger of being hit. Rest of Winstrike going to be healed up. Nice Shatter with multiple members. Was partially blocked. Lights up his Transcendence. The Graviton Surge follows up. Nice removal. Pushing Milky Man into the wall. Health bar's going down low. No kills to come through yet until Chow changes that with a kill to Milky Man. And Mei taking out Zappe. I don't know how he snuck in there, but he's just catching him off. Pincer maneuver on the retreat. 76% and climbing. And you just got yourself a D-Mech.
They even wall up the spawns. He's got to walk for longer here. But of course, by going back into base, swapping back onto the D.Va, you lose all that self-destruct progress that you had.
He did throw the ult at the beginning of that last fight.
He did, but there was still a bit of ult charge there that would have at least helped towards the latter part of this next fight. But Winstrike are at 90%. There's one fight left, and this is pretty much it.
Well, there's Graviton Surge. Earth Shatter hits the remainder of Gigantti on the back line. Milky Man will find Unfix in the trade. So they're one man down. This is the perfect opportunity for Gigantti to come in here and try and retake if they can just keep the momentum rolling. But Kenzie, he's got the Blizzard. He can throw that down on top of the Graviton Surge. What are Gigantti to do? They're locked up. They're frozen up. And Kenzie's having a mad one. 3 kills to his name while Chow follows up with a 4th. It just leaves 2 members remaining for Team Gigantti. And this is going to be a 100-0 wipe for Team Winstrike.
Winstrike coming out very solidly on that first point. That final shadow that came out of Sharek, I don't know why Milky Man stepped off to the left-hand side and exposed every member of his team to a free shadow, basically. That's the sign of a team that isn't communicating, isn't moving as a cohesive unit. Gigantti, again, last week, criticism. Not being proactive enough today. Same sort of story. They're just walking into ults coming out of Winstrike.
And this is like the worst possible map for Gigantti to go on against this composition. This is like one of the best set of map geometry for the Mei Goats composition. And Gigantti have to win this one to keep this map alive.
Remember last week as well, we saw double Mei on Mecha Base, and when those 3 like blast shields come up as well, and you have double walls going down from Mei, it's utterly chaos. It's like trying to work your way through a labyrinth, trying to find members of the enemy team to actually bring them down. But more of the same, Winstrike showed how they could pin the enemy team into those 3 chokes last week with the Mei, isolating 1 member and winning the 6 versus 5 that followed. Let's see if they can do it, but Gigantti have already got their way onto above the point here. They always have a small advantage on the fact that they are on point already and aren't going to be denied the way through any of those chokes.
Well, Kenzie offers some range with this Mei that's not been offered by Team Gigantti. So if they want to play the long game, they can, but of course, the point is going to force them to clash over the territory. Moving in, the wall's up. Perfect wall locks off Milky Man, but nice response with the protective barrier to keep him up. Zappe finds Sharek in the chaos. This could be a 1-fight for Team Gigantti. But Chow's going down very low, finished him off as well. Gigantti going to get the first cap.
Much better, because last time around, remember, Vigility got ran down. There was no barriers on side, no protection for him as well. No members corralling around to try and keep him alive. They just let Winstrike get away with it, but this time they say no. They know Milky Man is the guy who gets isolated. Barriers are there, Brigitte's in the mix of things as well. They're just throwing everything to stop Winstrike getting that for free. And that barrier was so crucial there. It blocks the slow, it blocks the freeze, it blocks damage as well, let's not forget. Everything from Davin there saved Milky Man.
Take an alternative route. Want to try and figure out the best course of ingress against Team Gigantti. Barriers are up, that provides more protection. Can't quite see what's going on. Mabel there, going on Milky Man, protects barriers, going to keep him healed. Davin actually burning his as well. There's no barriers on the side of Gigantti if they want to attack here. And Davin's locked up. He's going to be killed by Eng. Davin's managed to find Unfix, so there is even trade for Winstrike and Team Gigantti as they press forward. Milky Man going very low. He's got no barrier. Forces out the Trans to kill in order to keep him alive. Pinned up against the wall. Transcendence comes out from main to match them, but they're going to have that overlap in favor of them. And now they're going to get the kills. There's not enough healing on the side of Gigantti to keep him up. Tear through backline of Team Gigantti, and it's going to be a flip over to Winstrike, and it becomes lethal for Team Gigantti. It's so much harder to take this point away from the May Goats than it is vice versa.
Absolutely. Sharek did use his Earth Shot on that one. No voice line by the sounds of it to indicate it actually went down, but it did catch out two members on the ground who you saw get melted down. At the start of that fight, I was looking as to where Zappis was. He flew off somewhere to the bottom of the screen. Really, I want to see him stay on the point and be able to boot the aggressing team away, especially the May, and keep his team safe. But here we go, Kenzie trying to employ the tactic we've seen him do so many times.
They're trying to bait it out.
One member.
They're trying to bait it out. They keep playing around the choke, waiting for him to waste wall and then go in. They're having to constantly guess which direction they're coming from. They haven't committed until now. So now we've got that wall available. But we said we're sitting on that ultimate. Graviton Surge pulls them together. They can throw down Blizzard. They need to defend it. Self-destruct over the top.
Nice.
We'll take out Unfix. They're one man down. Going to commit to this fight. Graviton Surge blocked out that Earth Shatter. Sharek, nice position for him. Sound barrier on the side of Team Gigantti. Going to commit to this, and Winstrike did throw down the Blizzard. I don't see the results of it though, so I'm thinking it's been eaten.
Most probably, and yeah, interesting engage from Gigantti. Okay, they caught 3 and they got 1 with the self-destruct, not bad. Wasn't quite the characteristic Gigantti combo that we always speak about, or the Gigantti bomb where you throw the Graviton Surge down, have the Reinhardt charge there, Ryan out the way, as the self-destruct is about to explode, and you are basically guaranteed a team wipe unless the enemy Zarya is well and ready with her cooldowns.
Nice isolation with the wall. Milky Man's got nowhere to go. Zappis will go over the wall, keep himself alive with those rocket boosters. So only losing 1 so far, but that's really what you rely on with the May. Sharek, hang on a minute. Gigantti don't even need a wall to burst the Reinhardt. Going to do it all manual. Shout at D-Mech on Zappis. Unfix follows up with the kill. Ken's just going to sit there in the ice block, slow down the rope. And Zappe will get taken out by Chow. Just need to get that pesky Lucio. Nice right click from Kenzie. Will secure that. Going to be the flip back over to Winstrike. 91% for Gigantti. 1 fight can win in this round. Send them to the third.
Both supports threw themselves at the point there just to make sure that it did tick over that 85% mark, because once it's there, realistically, you have to win 1 more fight and that's it. Otherwise, the enemy Lucio can get back on point and contest just in time to force that extra final fight out as well. It's unlikely you lose it, but you'd rather not put it down to chance. They've got something to push in with here as well. Both Transcendences online, but looking at this May, isolating members out. This could be it already.
They've already tried to commit to the fight. That Transcendence is there, topping Winstrike up. They didn't get any kills for it, so that's bad news. Committing ultimates without any return on investment. Bro, shut down. That's big from Sharek. Milky Man caught off guard as the rest of the back line of Winstrike. 91%. Gigantti need to win 1 fight. Winstrike now pushing into a similar boat.
Don't worry, Unfix. I'm on the side of Brigitte's here. That was all you, my friend. Great shield bash off to the right-hand side to drop the shield and make that a very easy Q press for Sharek. Well, all the white powders you need is that kind of stuff, and this is what I spoke about last week. Gigantti let this happen a lot to them, and they've got to react to it this week a bit quicker.
Final fight, moving in. Mabel blocking it off. Nice sideline for Zappe. Just being limited as Graviton Surge pull them together. Unfix going down, so they've lost him to the Graviton damage. This is crucial. This is the final fight. You can't be losing members like that. They're going to commit the Graviton and the Snow Globe to the Team Gigantti as Kenzie will find Zappe. Chow taking out Facility. Bilbo answers with Sharek, but still man advantage in favor of Winstrike. Then Chow's going to try and cut through, build towards that grab. He's got a sound barrier topping him up, but he's fighting 1v3 at the moment until the reinforcements come in. Transcendence dominates Milky Man as he charges away. He didn't get away safely. That buys time to be healed up, but he needs to get back to the point fast if he wants to continue to contest. Gigantti have control because they flipped it in the chaos, but the man advantage is still for Winstrike. They need to flip it back. There's a Doomfist on the field. It's Facility just trying to get back. Chow finds Davin. Milky Man taking out Sharek, so mirror matchups taking him out at the moment. There's the Transcendence coming out from Zappe. Lilbo also using that sound barrier to give people some shields. Milky Man's being taken out. Chow finding it perfectly. Gonna knock Zappe off the map, but he comes back in. Sorry, that Zap is flying in. There's no one to protect Facility, and Lilbo from that Graviton Surge. Winstrike, they've done it, Des.
They managed to wipe him out just about. Zappe's still around, but it's not going to matter. It gets flipped back over. No one's on the point. And Winstrike, against all predictions at the start of this series, take the first map 1-0 in decisive fashion.
Well, we were kind of expecting there, like, even if Gigantti were going to win this one, you'd expect Winstrike with this May Goats to be very favorable on the control map archetype. So I think a lot of people are surprised at how this series has started, but it's still a long way to go.
Absolutely, but it's promising signs for Winstrike as well, who, again, coming into this, we said they don't really play too well on Goats themselves, had to try and devise their own counter to Goats, which was May. They've played it for 2 weeks on stream. The first week they didn't play, but people have seen them play this. They can understand their style. As it stands so far, Gigantti haven't found an answer.
Here's the problem, though, Des. Winstrike are the only team that are consistently running this. Do you commit time to counter one team when that one win isn't really going to divide you from playoffs? Or you can focus on what playing against every other team is, where you're probably going to face them in the first round of playoffs. It's about commitment of time. We'll touch more on this point when we come back after a quick break. Welcome back, everyone. We're about to jump into the second map of this series. Gigantti versus Team Winstrike. Of course, they are leading the series. Before we went to the break, we were asking about preparation. What should we be focusing on? Do you want to focus on countering one team's composition that only one team plays? Or do you play a little bit more broad and just try and gain the up against the majority of the other teams?
It's quite tough because for Gigantti, you know that this week is potentially the week when you can lock a spot in playoffs. If you lose this week, you leave all the pressure on yourself for next week. So winning today is quite important. And let's not forget, Winstrike have already qualified. Chances are that at some stage or another, they may well face off against Winstrike again. And it can't help in case a team does in case a team does try and surprise you with May in the future. The biggest problem is they won't have had the chance to scrim against a team that is playing it to this level. They are the only team playing it, and Winstrike, like most teams, will probably say, we haven't played you yet, we're not going to scrim you this season, sorry. Once we've played you, then sure, we'll show you all of our secrets and all the goodies inside.
We'll open up the book of Winstrike.
The book of Winstrike. The book of win-win.
Let's find out if it's going to be a win-win. If they go into the half 2-0 up, that could be quite interesting and put a lot of confidence in those win-win backers in the chat. Team Gigantti going to be on defense first. Distinct lack of Reinhardt, going to be going for that monkey goats variation.
Yeah, totally fine. Understandable on Numbani. You can get the same sort of setup as well coming through on Horizon. And Hanamura is one that we've seen on quite a lot as well. It is a very popular comp these days. Less so when it comes around to things like Hollywood, because there's a lot of stairs to get to where you need to. On here, it's the same case, but it's a much longer walking path.
No May on the side of Winstrike. Kenzie rolling out with the Zarya instead. So we get to see a more traditional flavor of goats from the CIS lineup.
I think you might see it coming through on defense maybe, but on attack it makes sense because you're playing into chokes, not stopping the other team coming through chokes. They just have to sit back and wait for you. But Winstrike has said themselves, Goats isn't our strongest. Let's see if they've had a chance to practice it these last few weeks.
Speaking of strength, they burst through that choke and knock the high ground position that Team Gigantti had. Now they're playing on the low. Rookie Man presses forward. The traditional Goats tends to favor and go into the Monkey Goats in a stronger fashion. They're going to press them. They're on the back foot. And Facility's the first casualty of war. Taking control of the point, that's all they need to do. They've got the man advantage, they've got themselves a tick already. Gigantti forcing back as Lilbo takes out Hang on a minute, Davin's found Shark and they got a D-Mech from Milky Man. This isn't over for Team Gigantti. They're still keeping the fight going as they jump onto the back line. Milky Man with the Goomba stomp on the Chow after the D-Mech. Get him another kill. Kenzie's doing all he can to try and bring it back into Winstrike's favor. But when Unfixed jumps off the map, you can tell they're going for a reset.
They absolutely are. They got that first third at the very least. And Goats will do this. It will force the issue and take the point because it is better at doing that. The issue then comes in when you start having the poke back, the mobility coming in from Milky Man, being able to jump round and threaten your backline. It stretches Goats apart because you're not always 100% sure of where to focus. Now, most teams will tell you, and I've said it a few times myself, that Monkey Goats does get countered by Goats, but there are still instances where teams can execute Goats well enough that it does shut this down. Question now, has Winstrike got the tenacity to pull it off?
There we go, you see the bubble protecting Milky Man as he's forced off that high ground. Does have the final rage, Davin also has the graviton surge. That's a long range one, fighting into the back line by Winstrike. Transcendence is being traded to keep him up. Nice shatter there, Facility dropped down. Transcendence still being used there, slightly for Team Gigantti will keep him up. But the self-destruct already found Davin. One member down for the side of Team Gigantti. The self-destruct goes into the air, Team Gigantti going for it, and caught off guard by the explosive. Using that mobility, Lilbo follows up on the Sharek. I think Winstrike is going to crumble to the side again and do this all over again.
A little bit split at points as well. I mean, in that first fight we saw, Chow was set at about 100, 120 HP for a good 15 seconds or so. No real heals coming his way until they tried to actually push down into the alleyway. And that was all off the back of just Lucio's AoE healing. So maybe start thinking, well, these are your big bodies in this comp that you want to keep alive. You've got the Rhine, you've got the Diva. For the most part, the Zarya can look after herself with her own personal barrier as long as she's not expending it far too early. Maybe look at keeping these big beef front lines alive because you need to block damage for the squishier backline. 1
minute 30 remaining. Winstrike going to press through on this high ground again. Still strong, holding it off. Shaq jumps down. Where's the rest of the team? Need to reinforce him. Milky Man's just sitting in that bubble, being relatively unnormed. Nice sound barrier there. Keeps everyone on Winstrike alive. Graviton surge planted into the ground. Will keep Gigantti off the point if they get more progress. Self-destruct is planted into the back line. Nice reactions there. Will keep Zappe alive. Kenzie getting the beam there across the shot. Found the kill. Nice tracking down onto Milky Man with that laser. Will get him away. Winstrike got control of the point. Will press forward onto the payload section.
There we go. Much better that time round. I was concerned because at the very start they pushed in deep to try and focus on those in the alleyway. And Milky Man was in the back line against 3 or 4 and they just weren't collapsing on him and killing him. You have a lot of killing power. When you've got the Brigitte with the stun, the Discord all coming out of the Zen, you should be able to threaten that Winston, to make him play far more defensively. But Milky Man was given free agency for the whole thing. And yes, it paid off for Winstrike because they got the shadow down, they forced the ults out the other side. Still a little bit scrappy at points. They want to see them execute this a bit better. Almost.
Nice shadow. Finds a couple of members. Flame Threat will be eaten up by Diva's self-destruct, so no follow-up, not self-destruct, defense matrix, so no follow-up damage coming from there. Lilbo finds Sharek, pushes him after he went for a charge that did not connect with anyone. That's on surge, putting together, there's no shield, they got protective barriers. Kenzie's already used his, who's going to protect him as the self-destruct comes over? And the only person to be found from that unexplosive device. Main pushing forward with those hands, he's got a team in front of him to protect him. Throwing those orbs, is unfit, finds his kill after getting the D-Mech. Sharek taking out Zappe. Winstrike keep on trucking. 2 minutes 30 on the clock.
With the ults online as well, only really looking towards that Graviton Surge right now, but it does mean the combo is almost available to them. The Graviton Surge into the self-destruct. If you throw the Reinhardt in there, you've got a Gigantti combo being used against Team Gigantti. But on their side, they've got all 3 defensive ultimates online. They can negate this as long as they play it smart.
Jumping right on top of Winstrike there as they come out with the high ground position. Crowd them together, Shaq's in position to do something, won't get the charge, he's booped away, unable to get anything connected there. So the self-destruct combo not being played off, Gigantti bomb being denied by Team Gigantti.
A lot of that once again by Davin, really smart with these barriers, blocking out a lot of that damage, and the stun from Unfix didn't quite land onto the Rhines. They just couldn't make it work out for them. Now you're into this awkward stalemate where ultimates have been burnt, and it's almost like the first round of the match again, where everyone's charging up, and Zappers get Sherry.
Take him out of the fight. Winstrike in full retreat. Team Gigantti pushing back towards them. 1 minute 35 on the clock. And Winstrike was 0.8 meters away from moving on to the next section.
Yeah, so even then, like I say, when those ults were coming out, really it was Gigantti who came on top with Zappis getting that pick onto Sharik. Removing that big beefy frontliner. That huge shield of Reinhardt going down does remove all the protection for the backline, and it's very easy to melt those who are more exposed, then charge in and reset. That's why Winstrike ran away, thinking we don't want to feed all charge here. Let's just get back and go again.
Speaking of ult charge, Sharik runs in there, gathers up more of his own, puts it through the payload. Transcendence being used, nice block there, but Unfix was still caught in the chaos. Main's going to go down as well. Milky Man just pressing forward with that hammer. Sharik goes for a Hail Mary charge, only to be punished by Zappis. That's going to be another one fight for Team Gigantti.
Bit awkward there because Sharik landed the shatter and they caught out a good few members of the team. Saw him fixing the backline. Members kind of converged on it. But as soon as Milky Man came back up, he dropped his own shatter. And because Sharik was lurking at the back of the fight, not charging forward with that huge 75 damage cleave across most of the team, it was a free shatter even with his shield online. It caught out several members and all Gigantti had to do was push back. It's not the cleanest execution by Winstrike. They've only got maybe one more fight here to be able to actually get to this second point and push it towards the third and final stage in the round.
30 seconds on the clock. They have all the advantage as well. They're already having to play against Team Gigantti as they commit. Self-destruct's being traded into the backline. Milky Man will shield it as there's nothing to take it down. Unfix goes with a stun onto Davin. Facility caught out with a solo shatter from Sharik. Will take him out of the fight. They just need to capitalize more on this. Milky Man going to go down. Winstrike looking good for them here to move on to the next section and add another 1 minute 30 to their time bank.
I feel like a bit of a negative nilly here as well. Again, ult's being missed a bit. Unfix was about 2 seconds after with his shield bash once the shadow actually came out. Whether that was miscom or he was booped away and kept away from the team for the most part, I'm not 100% sure. Maybe a brick preempted from Sharik and the rest of the team there to pull the trigger, but they still come out on top because Gigantti had no response to what they were throwing at them.
Penty's got 71% on that grab. Davin, half the ult charge. Winstrike, if they win one good fight here, they can push it down to a really dangerous position that Gigantti would have to defend from right outside their spawn room. Zappy's got the Transcendence to put that fear to rest and use that to get the healing out, but Zappy's already taken out Sharik. Late Transcendence coming from main. It's going to be one to match from Zappy, keep the fight alive for them. Facility taking out Unfix. That's 2 members of Winstrike down as they press forward into them. Kenzie going back to the spawn room. Gigantti, they're looking to chase him back there as well.
Absolutely, with 40 seconds on the clock, respawns coming in from Kenzie in just a second. This is probably going to be the final push coming out of Winstrike. They've got a couple of ultimates to play with. I'm looking on the other side though, where it's exactly the same story. Almost 5 ultimates online for Gigantti. They shouldn't lose this next fight unless Winstrike can execute this next combo perfectly. I'm looking at where Unfixed is and where that bash is going to come through.
They have the bigger bomb ready to go. Just need to land it properly. Grab some surge. You get yourself struck in the back line. Where's the shatter? But no, it's a counter shatter from Milky Man. Shuts down any attempt at that. Sharik then going to be followed up with a flame strike to finish him. It's going to be Davin twisting forward. They've still got a grab in their pocket. This is looking really good for Team Gigantti to end it right here. As they send through another flame strike. Milky Man walking forward. Double kill for Zappis with the bomb. Make that a D-mech as well. Add it all to the bill. And the check's been delivered to Winstrike. They don't have the money to pay. Overtime ticking down. Gigantti end it here.
Unfix didn't even get shattered there and still couldn't get in range to get the shatter down, although we did see 2 from Milky Man when he dropped his own shatter down. Very rare you see a Ryan use the shatter inside the grab because it's so easy to see what's coming when you're aggressing in, but Sharik was so concerned with getting in melee range and swinging away at those 5-6 members come together. No one expected it, and Gigantti caught them off guard there, so punished for their aggression. Now Gigantti got to show what they can do on their attacking round with not a huge amount to push for, to be honest with you. Just getting to the top of that third hill is... it's doable, you might say. Tend to see a lot of teams roll from first point straight into second, and the real struggle for third starts coming on the final corner.
Going to see Winstrike running out of the point with their defensive lineup first. We expected the Maze to come out here potentially on the defensive push for Winstrike against what Team Gigantti will come out with. See a more definitive picture. If that timer ticks down, they get into the arena to compete. Kenzie could stay on this soldier. We have heard rumblings of it being used. Nice long-range sightlines, able to be used in the arena that is point A. What can they do with it as well? They're putting main onto that Ana. So I think they really want to keep their distance with this composition, Des.
It's totally fine, although I'm not 100% sure. Normally in this case you would roll out with the double range. We'd have the Zen and the Ana together thanks to the sightlines. You play behind the column that was on the high ground just across from this high ground where they're all gathering on now, and they're relatively safe there. The two supports can look after each other. What they're choosing to play with instead, though, is rather than going for the Zen with the Discord, just keeping that Lucio there because he can get between points. He can boot members away who are trying to aggress onto Kenzie. And for Kenzie on the soldier, this guy's a big Widowmaker player. We saw him a lot in Season 1 and 2. In fact, his name was synonymous with the term War of the Widows since we saw him play it so often. I'm interested to see how he does here on the soldier as well. Another hit scan, of course, not quite as impactful, you'd argue, as Widow when it comes to the one-shot kills, but still just as impactful when using the right position.
I would have assumed we would have seen Unfix stay with the soldier to keep away any dive pressure, but he's on Frost on the other side. He's not going to be able to get there and reinforce Kenzie as easily as someone else can. Like you said, going to have the support from Eng there to boop away, but Gigantti taking their sweet time with this.
It's like I mentioned when you're trying to assault this map yesterday, though. You're always trying to take this high ground where you can see Sharek right now. You want to go from there and then launch in, because being able to get behind the team and onto the other high ground, it's almost impossible. You will get attacked before you even get to that point. Here they come down the high ground, though. This is why you got the Brigitte here, is because you want to try and threaten them, and you can also corner pick along with the Ana anti-nade, which is just landing in the back line.
Beautiful anti-nade. It's going to shut down all the healing that Zappy wants to provide. Kenzie fires the healer rockets in. Get Lilbo, and they're on the retreat now, so I want to get a little bit more ult charge as they back off. Davin looking to do the same with the mortars, taking a half HP. Nice set play from Winstrike. I don't know how many times they can repeat it, though.
It's smart from main, but it's like yesterday when we saw in one of the series, I can't remember which series it was, where we saw three kind of, not so much cheese attacks, but surprise attacks catch the other team off guard. In the final one, it failed because they'd ran out of ideas to try and surprise them with, basically.
Well, main's got another hiding spot. Look at this. He's just trying a different angle. Anthony in the back. I believe that was eaten up because no one was affected.
On him.
A bit too short. Maybe it hit one of his allies, unfortunately. Chow going to take out Facility, so they're still winning the fight. Kenzie, uncontested across that second high ground. Nicely all there onto the Diva. They're going to have a nice stall onto Zappis when he wakes up from his nap.
Yep, and Kenzie off to the side, he's just been a little trooper, quite literally rifling away, getting that ultimate online. They've built up a response here. The Gigantti, as of yet, of course, it's only been 2 pushes so far, have been unable to answer. They can't take this high ground, and that's 2 hiding spots we've seen from main now. I'm curious to see if he moves over to the right-hand side and hides around the corner with the help of Brigitte as a peeker, or if he stays where he is right now.
Why don't Team Gigantti just jump onto Kenzie, Des?
Because it's very difficult when you don't have anything to do it with. You have a Diva.
You have, yeah, very true. You just have Diva.
Just jump on his forehead.
Well, they're going to send Diva right at Kenzie. That seems they've heard you, Des. The Tractor Barrier comes down. It's a good response to keep Kenzie alive, but it's bored. Gigantti some time to press onto the point. Now they have to go for a retake. Nano boosted Kenzie with the tactical visor. Unable to find a target because they're hiding so well. Self-destruct over the top. Wants to try and damage Zappis, but will have to hide around the corner. Can't keep this up. No one's died this entire engagement. Shaq popping the primal raid. Locking him in the corner. Unfixed has been bursted down while this is going on. Davin will find Sharek eventually. He can only do that 1v3 for so long. Main finally being harassed by Zappis. Jumps onto the point. Just be beaten up by Zappa and the rest of the boys. Gigantti going to take point A.
Just like yesterday when you run out of ideas on ways to surprise them, and Gigantti have seen it all by then, well, aren't really too many more things you can use to surprise them. And despite the kind of like, they've only got Diva, they can't really dive on him, it was enough to disturb Kenzie for long enough that he couldn't stay up there and just pepper the enemy team. So well played by Zappis to get up there, force him into the alleyway, and then immediately turn back round and get himself back into the fight. That led to the death of Unfixed. Admittedly, a bit scrappy on the point for Winstrike, really. There wasn't enough damage coming around, and to stop this Goats comp just forcing their way into the area and taking it away from Winstrike.
This is important for Winstrike. They want to try and stop the payload here so they can get Mei into the side room and do the strategy they often do, where they wall up.
Oh, Young Beautiful doing that.
Young Beautiful doing it. Well, we expect them to do that anyway. Nice to credit the right team for it, though, Des. Kill going down. Chow taken out by the Rocket Boosters despite the initiation from Winstrike. It's going a bit south for them. Nano Boost being committed. Who does that go on to?
Nano Boost and Ryan, that's been a long time.
Well, he's going to throw the shatter down. He finds Zappis. Nice counter shatter from Milky Man. Zappis going to be protected by his team as Sharek's taken out by Milky Man's charge. Milky Man finding the third onto main. This is going to be Team Gigantti keeping the payload moving.
Kenzie being a bit of a wind-up merchant in the back line there, keeping the payload stalled out on point. But like I say, it's been a long while, I think, since we saw the movement speed buff taken away from Nano Boost. You barely ever see it on a Ryan. But if you are playing this Goats comp with the Ryan, with the Ana in place, sorry, of the Zen, for example, he's normally the boost target you go to. We just don't see a lot of that flavour of Goats here in Europe.
Main switching off, going over to Xenia for this time around, wants to shred through some of the beakiness that's in Team Gigantti's lineup. They press forward, Rally being popped. Sharek already being bullied by Milky Man. Unfix going down low, has to take cover.
Watch that.
He's got the Blizzard available. Shaq's already gone down. You're going to have to throw this ultimate, or you're at risk of losing too much here for Team Winstrike. Going to freeze up Zappis with the ice block to stall out even longer, but the rest of Gigantti is just rolling over this.
This is now very, very risky for Winstrike. They've got 3.5 minutes remaining to defend against Team Gigantti. They've got a couple of ultimates to play with, make that 3, and their tried and tested combo of the Graviton Surge with the Blizzard is available to them. But Gigantti have got a lot to roll with. And yes, Davin is waiting to play Staller here on this corner.
He's going to catch him off the point. He's going to put it in behind him, plant it into the back. En's caught up. There's nothing to protect him, so he's just going to be killed. You're losing your mobility. En's not going to be able to force his team forward. And now they come in for the fight. Milky Man follows up with a shatter. Kenzie Chow already knocked down. They're just throwing the Transcendence for good measure. Try and stall out a little bit longer, get reinforcements from the spawn, but Main can only last for so long. He will be picked off. That armor is not strong enough to fight against it. Team Gigantti level out the series going into the half.
Very dominantly as well, and this is where we saw a very close match last week actually for Team Gigantti, so I'm pleased to see they've managed to close it out here as well and convert that into a 1-1 coming into the half. Winstrike, your May's been exposed, buddies. It's time to play something else, I think, as well. Showing that when it comes to these non-King of the Hill maps, like you were speaking about earlier on, you've got to bring some new ideas to the table. And it works on that first point. I really liked what we saw there. It was very creative. But you've got to have a plan B through C through Z, all the way to the end for that second and third point as well.
Well, that's the first series under wraps. Well, not the first series. First half of the series under wraps. We're going to go to the analyst desk, and they're going to give you their take on it so far.